What's up, ladies and gents? This is KSigKid, coming at you with another Destiny video. Tomorrow, we've got a big day in Destiny. Tomorrow, we've got the Iron Banner returning, and we've got Aksis Challenge Mode. Two big things coming to Destiny, and I want to make two predictions. One is going to be a prediction basically 24 hours in advance, and one is going to be a longer term prediction. We're just going to have a little bit of fun with it and just spitball some things. Obviously, nothing is guaranteed. It's just taking a look at how Destiny is. We're making some predictions on what we can see in this game in the future. So first off, we've got my Grasp of Malok. This is pretty much the weapon that I've been using for a long time in PvP. It's basically a god roll. It's got counterbalance, perfect balance, brace frame if I really want it, and glass half full. We've got this, the Oversoul Edict, the Waltz, and the Clever Dragon that have the same archetype. You can see compared to the Outbreak Prime, which is basically the Hawksaw archetype, we've got that, and then we've also got a Hopscotch Pilgrim, and you can see that has a higher impact and a slower rate of fire. Again, just showing it compared to some of the other weapons that you might be seeing in the game. Anyway, I want to get on to my predictions, and feel free in the comment section below to leave some of your own predictions for what you think is going to happen, whether it be Aksis Challenge Mode or the other topic that we're going to touch on. First off, I want to predict what Aksis Challenge Mode is going to be. My guess, my prediction, is that Aksis Challenge Mode is going to be us having to set off those empowerment plates each time we stun Aksis. So if you've got your team of Dark Drinkers, and you can typically 2-cycle Aksis, that means you're going to have to set off 6 of those empowerment plates. And if that's the case, I don't know about you guys, but I think that's going to make Challenge Mode very, very, very difficult for many teams, and that includes my team, because we are not setting off those empowerment plates when we're doing it typically. We're not. In fact, we're not really even set up to be in the right positions to even hit those plates. It's going to be pretty much like learning the battle from the beginning. It's going to be tricky. It's not going to be the most impossible thing in the world, but it is definitely going to be tricky. And the one thing you need to keep in mind when making your predictions for the challenge mode is the challenge mode does not change the mechanics of the gameplay. Meaning, if you're going to have Aksis Challenge Mode, you have to be able to have Aksis Challenge Mode out and still complete Aksis just normally on hard or normal. The actual mechanics of the gameplay can't change, so why I think that it's going to be the empowerment plates is because whether you set them off or don't set them off, you can still complete the battle and still beat Aksis. So putting in the empowerment plates as a requirement is challenging. So that's why I think that's going to be the case. The only other thing that I think might be the case, or it might be in addition to those empowerment plates, is using up all of those towers. Just like we have to use all of the clean rooms on Vosik, we might have to use all 4 of those towers before we kill Aksis. So those are going to be my guesses. I'm thinking the empowerment plates are going to be the thing. I'm not going to be surprised though if those towers in the back that we go to whenever Aksis is doing his Siva critical density, if those might need to be used as well. That's my prediction for challenge mode. We're going to find out in 24 short hours if I was right or if I was 100% and completely off base. Now moving on to something that's going to affect a lot of players a lot more often than Aksis Challenge Mode is what's going to be happening with the Iron Banner tomorrow. So we're going to be getting Iron Banner control, we already know that, and we already know what weapons and armor we're going to be getting. And one of the weapons that we're going to be able to buy straight up from the vendor is the Clever Dragon. And that's why we're showing some gameplay of the Grasp of Malok in PvP. Because the Clever Dragon is going to be out, which means that absolutely everybody who plays in the Iron Banner is going to be able to go over to Lady Aphrodite and buy their own Clever Dragon. Which means that pretty much everybody in the game that's playing PvP is going to have this Grasp of Malok archetype. And that is going to be crazy. Now, I know that there are already a lot of people that have it, because Iron Banner gives you a ton of loot. And between all of those loot drops, a lot of people ended up picking up one or multiple Clever Dragons that they ended up picking up from their loot drops from the Iron Banner last time. Now though, because Lady Aphrodite is going to be selling it, not only can everybody buy it, but it's going to be coming on the end game screens. And the last Iron Banner was very, very, very rewarding for all of the end game screen loot drops. So people are going to be able to farm for this archetype of pulse rifle, and people are going to be having a lot of Clever Dragon god rolls going on. And if you've got a god roll weapon, chances are you're going to be using it, and chances are you're going to enjoy it, and chances are you're going to be wrecking with it. And what that means is you're going to be seeing a ton of these archetype pulse rifles going on in the game. And whenever players are using a bunch of the same weapon, you know what that means. That means nerf. So that's my second prediction. I predict that because of the influx of clever dragons that we're going to be seeing this pulse rifle archetype take a hit. Because Bungie, typically whenever they're doing their buffs and nerfs, the number one thing, at least the number one thing that they mention is a weapon ends up getting nerfed based on its usage. Now, I don't agree with that at all. I've said that many times. I don't believe that overuse means overpowered. Now, that's not to say that the Grasp of Malok and the Clever Dragon aren't extremely powerful. They absolutely are in this game right now. The way that the weapon balancing is, the Clever Dragon, the Grasp of Malok, the Waltz, they're extremely powerful. But just because something is overused doesn't mean that it absolutely deserves a nerf. In fact, it might be overused because other things are typically weak. And I believe that is more typical of what's going on in Destiny, that we've got some strong weapon types and then some really weak weapon types. But because everybody's going to have the Clever Dragon and everybody's going to be running around with it, killing everybody else, I think we're going to be seeing, whenever our next patch notes come out for the weapons, that this fast rate of fire pulse rifle is probably going to receive a damage nerf or something along those lines. So those are my two predictions. Now, am I happy or sad about those things? Well, obviously I'm going to be sad if the fast rate of fire pulse rifle, like the Grasp of Malok, gets nerfed, just because I've been using this one so much and I've been having so much success with it and so much fun. But I guess that's one of the reasons why I hoard so much stuff in Destiny, because I like to keep different weapons in my vault and I like to try out different weapons, because you never know when your favorite weapon is going to get nerfed. What will you feel like if this archetype of weapon ends up getting nerfed? I realize a lot of people right now might say, oh my goodness, I'm so glad, thank goodness if the Grasp of Malok gets nerfed. And that's probably because a lot of people don't have a really god-rolled one. But after you go through the Iron Banner and you get your own Clever Dragon, and you get your own god-rolled Clever Dragon, and you can pretty much stand toe-to-toe with the rest of the field, will you feel the same way? Will you still feel the same way that this archetype absolutely needs and deserves a nerf? Or will you be sad and salty if Bungie just goes ahead and decides to nerf the fastest rate of fire pulse rifles in the game? I'm really curious about that, and I'm really interested in your opinions on that matter. For me, I probably look at things a little bit different from other people. Even if everybody in the game was using the Clever Dragon only, it wouldn't really bother me. I typically don't get bothered by what other people are using in the game, even whenever it was the Thorn meta. Even whenever it was the Thorn meta, I was like, you know what? I enjoy the Thorn, I'm going to go ahead and use the Thorn whenever I see fit. If other people are using it, well, I know why other people are using it, because it's a pretty solid gun and it's a pretty fun gun. So even if everybody in the games that I go ahead and play are using the fastest rate of fire pulse rifle, it's really not going to bother me. I don't get worried about what other people are using. I only focus on what I can do to get better and what I can use for my own arsenal. I know I'm in the minority of that. I don't expect anybody to agree with me on that. I'm just talking about how I personally look at things, and I'm still going to have a lot of fun. Whether everybody's using an OP gun or an overused gun, I'm going to have a good time. So those are my two predictions. Again, leave your predictions in the comment section below. Anyway, guys and gals, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, smack that like button and subscribe to the channel. Check out these awesome videos. Good luck with your raids, your drops, your Iron Banner, and I'll see you around in Destiny. Buckle up for the nerf.